talk to you about the new moon on the 6th of October 2021 at 13 degrees of Libra. Now, the new moon in Libra brings our focus onto our closest one-on-one personal relationships, whether it is marriage, business partnerships, opponents, etc. Now, you might find these relationships are much more potent and important to you at this time, and depending on where you are on an emotional level, will affect whether this is mostly bringing a feeling of support or whether this could bring up issues of jealousy or conflict and power struggles. For most, the sun and the moon here will bring together our hearts and our minds, and we can work well together, especially regarding putting our heads together on something important. In general, this is good for meetings and conferences if you are also willing to say what needs to be said, regardless of whether you receive approval for your honesty or not, as the moon here can sometimes want to emotionally avert disharmonious conditions. This new moon is a new beginning or a restart in the area of Libra in your chart, a new seed or idea to be planted, a new leaf is turned. The ruler of this new moon is Venus, and she is currently at the anoretic 29 degrees of Scorpio. And this can motivate shrewd calculation in money matters, and it can bring out our passionate side in love, sexuality, as well as deep intimacy. We might crave intense emotional connection during this time, but it can also bring up financial discussions in relationships and how money is being shared and spent, invested, owed, etc. Regardless, it is a time where you might find it good to examine your closer partnerships and see what works and what does not. Even things out. See where the imbalance could be if there are things that need straightening out. It is a great time for counseling if you find it difficult to communicate with Mercury now retrograde in Libra, which can cause misunderstandings in relationships, as well as we could lack objectivity of seeing things from the other person's side, especially conjunct the sun as well. But it can aid us in reviewing and rethinking our relationships and commitments. With Mercury retrograde in Libra, we can find old relationships from the past pop up, or old issues regarding relationships in the past. You might be able to do quite a bit of healing during this time, as you can review how much growth you have done since then. Mars is also conjunct the Sun and Moon in Libra and in mutual reception with the ruler of this new moon, Venus in Scorpio, which can bring in new relationships for some with a strong sexual attraction, but be careful and avoid violence and dangerous places and people. It can also bring up heated conversations, conflicts, and breakups in some situations. A sense of either really pushing for things or giving up completely. Positively, this can bring in the opportunity now to use this energy to rather work on the relationship or work on some creative task or project together that can bring you together as a team. Becoming aware of others' needs as well as your own is very important at this time, as Mars here can make it harder for one to compromise. On the other hand, which Librans are always aware of, you could be over-compromising. Balance is key here. Therefore, this is a great time to figure out where the imbalance is, if there is one, as you cannot remedy it if you do not face and acknowledge it first. There is good energy to support responsible actions and to become aware when one is fighting or defending over trivial matters. In some cases, legal issues can come up with Mars here. Compromise, go over all the details as it could easily be overlooked. With Mercury in retrograde, do not act hastily. But Mercury's trine to Jupiter will assist in legal matters and seeing everything that needs to be seen. Possibly even new information you are unaware of that becomes beneficial. You will have the ability to withstand much adversity and strain with the moon trine Saturn. Helping others here will in turn help you, and you will be able to learn a great deal. Beware of manipulation or power struggles, as Mercury is also square to Pluto, now stationary and super powerful, which can indicate biased thinking and obsession with one viewpoint. Try not to start any new commitment, sign contracts, buy new electronics, etc. with Mercury retrograde. New relationships can have a change of heart once Mercury stations direct again on the 23rd of October. Rather use the time to take care of the details and preparation of things until Mercury is direct. With the Sun trine Saturn, you will be able to organize and plan well, especially great for long-term affairs. Back up your files, protect against theft, and aim for direct communication. Avoid gossip, especially with neighbors, friends, and relatives. But there is much communication with these groups, and you might be able to get some advice or another perspective here concerning any issues you may be dealing with at this time. Be aware of overeating, overspending. There could be an interest in traveling during this time or planning for it. This is a great time to expand your mind and look at your life. And if there is anything that you need to let go of or change at this time, your sense of loss will not be great. You might feel more secure with whatever has supported you in the past. Allow what needs to go now. Pluto will be moving over the same area in Capricorn. It was digging up from the end of April until now, which has been deeply raw for some in practicing non-attachment and letting go of control and realizing that unless we love ourselves with all of our duality, and if we do not have healthy boundaries, we cannot have healthy relationships because we would never feel full. On a collective level, the powers at the top could go through some changes and will possibly move forward with more restrictions, regulations, legislation, also regarding travel, plus financial changes, and issues regarding mechanical breakdowns are also possible. The organs more vulnerable for sensitivity now are the kidneys, the bladder, the pancreas, the urinary tract, insulin, glucagon, and skin. Surgical operations are not recommended if possible. Please do avoid. The Sun, Moon, and Saturn retrograde are trine the North Node and sextile the South Node, while Venus and Mars are in mutual reception. And this could indicate that one is more in tune with one's instincts, and there is support here to overcome personal limitations, such as low self-worth, plus Venus opposite the North Node indicate liking our poison, enabling us to achieve emotionally satisfying experiences that are intense and intimate, but ultimately transformational in some way, to prepare us for what we are ready for next. I'd like to read to you the inside degrees for 13 degrees of Libra. Men and women in white towels in a steam bath, talking and sweating profusely. When you are personally ill, disattuned, all broken up, you can find a kind of healing and transformation by exposing yourself to shared experiences that give you a boost and let you release what has gotten you to this point. You will find others in similar places to your own. Rituals and styles of change, of opening, of becoming somebody new can become a way of life in themselves, being thrust into collective cycles, taking on collective karmas, immersing yourself in what is going on with everybody, feeling it all, sensing what it is like to be human, to be wounded, to be searching, alive to the multiple chemistries, along an open-ended pathway. Yet you also tend to loop back, to grow attached to the way it seems, and to be naive to what you are really doing after all. Experiences and processes must be springboards into really becoming free. And perhaps also by rooting into a place where love is born, out of whose source you can give so abundantly and be sustained in the universal flow, as one who kept at it until all the semblances gave way to the adventure authentically embraced. May the sun shine bright on you this day, and may there be blessings coming your way. Until next time.